You're listening to the Daily Sales Tips podcast, and I'm your host, Scott Ingram. Today's tip comes from Jeff Bajorek, who needs very little introduction. Here he is.
For today's tip, I want to make it a little more like a workshop. So if you're riding a bike or running or driving a car right now, maybe skip to the next episode, come back to this one later. But what I want you to do is clear your space for 10 or 15 minutes. I want you to grab a blank sheet of paper and something to write with, a pen, a pencil, a marker, a crayon, I don't care what it is. And I want you to draw your sales process. It shocks me how many salespeople cannot draw their sales process or write the steps of their sales process from beginning to end. And it's no wonder that they don't advance their processes because they don't know what step is coming next. It's hard to know what to ask for if you don't know where you're going. So that's a good exercise in and of itself, but I want you to look at a couple of things. How long is your process? And I mean from initial prospect identification all the way to closed deal, regardless of it's won or lost. How many steps are there? How many things do you actually have to do? Is it a lot? Is it 15, 20? Or is it like 4 to 7 where it really should be, right? I think salespeople have a tendency to make things way too complicated. And so when you see this process from a bird's eye view, you can see that 15 or 16 steps might be able to be combined. Or you're not going to be able to combine them all, but maybe you can make that instead of 11, maybe it's 7. And then knowing with that additional clarity what it is that you need to ask for in order to move forward, you can ask a little more often, a little more efficiently. You shorten your sales process, you'll shorten your sales cycles as well. One of the other things I want you to do is look for those places where you typically get stuck. Where do you get hung up? This is where you go to your mentor, your coach, your manager, someone else on your team, a colleague, and you work on those spots because those are your trouble spots and you can brainstorm some ideas to move forward and really get better and reduce those sticking points. All of that knowledge, all of that information, all of that increased efficiency from just a pencil and a piece of paper and about 10 or 15 minutes to think clearly about it. This is not complicated. Don't make selling any more complicated than it needs to be. Take the time, give yourself the space to visualize what actually needs to be done, and it's going to help you with your clarity, it's going to help you with your focus, and it'll help you win more deals.
For more from Jeff, including your last chance to participate in his golf marathon fundraiser and associated group coaching opportunity, last I checked, he was at 148% of his goal. So, of course, he's overachieving. Just click over to DailySales.Tips/854. Maybe you want to send Jeff a copy of the picture you just drew as well. I bet he'd appreciate that. Once you've done that, be sure to come back tomorrow for another great sales tip. Thanks for listening.